ISO 14000 requires that we should identify objectives of our environmental performance. What kind of objectives we can take? Like conservation of energy, like conservation of resources, like minimal pollution, maximize the training, maximize the yield. Such kind of objectives are to be taken as per the requirements of ISO 14001. With objectives, the targets are to be decided. At least once in a year, we have to review the targets, from which level to which level we want to bring the energy consumption. From what level of pollution to what level of pollution we have to achieve with respect to pollution parameters such as COD, BOD, suspended particulate matters, and all such kind of various parameters given in the our environment management system. And the third thing which the standard talks is the management programs to achieve those objectives and targets. So first we have objectives, then targets, and some action plans by what technology, by what project, by what methods we will be able to achieve those objectives and targets. In the implementation part of ISO 14001, first we have to decide the roles and responsibilities. Clear roles and responsibilities should be decided with respect to the environment management system. There is also a requirement of a management representative, which is the coordination point for any aspect related to the environment management system. The next clause talks about competence, training and awareness. So there should be a process of training the people with respect to what they should do, what they should not do to protect the environment. So people should be trained. People includes employees as well as contract people. So they should be trained on the various aspects related to their activities, environmental aspects. They should be trained for how to handle the emergencies, environmental emergencies. They should also be told what is the consequences if they do not operate the plant or the factory or the processes as per the guidelines. Which are the critical limits? Which are the critical parameters beyond which the process becomes unsafe and it creates problem for the environment? Such kind of training, continuous training, right from induction during the employment phase should be given. The next clause talks about internal and external communication. The environmental team should meet at defined frequency, say once in a month or so, and they should discuss what is the status of improvement of actions, what is the status of any investigations related to the environmental incidences, how the training is going on, what is the consumption levels, if any legal authorities or any other authorities has expressed any concern related to environment management system. So such kind of discussion should be there in the environmental meeting, which is a part of internal communication. The external communication includes how we will inform to the people who visit our factory or the people who live near to our factory or some other factories which are nearby located. How we will inform that what kind of environmental emergencies are possible in our company. So we have to take a decided, conscious decision with respect to whether we will be informing our environmental aspects to external people. So management of our company should decide this. And if we decide that okay, we have to inform to the external people what kind of risks are there with respect to the environmental aspects, then we have to define the methodology of doing this communication. The implementation aspects also covers the documentation part. So again, we have to have a documentation structure for our environment management system, such as there should be an apex manual for environment management system, which is equivalent to how the requirements of ISO 14000 are adopted by the company. What are the salient features of environment management system of the company? Then there can be some common procedures which are applicable to all the departments. And then there are other procedures which are called operational control procedures, which are specific to the operations and activities of the company. The next level of documentation may be the templates, the external origin documents, and the registers which are used for keeping the evidence related to the environmental management system activities. And once we have the documentation, we have to ensure that the right document is available at the right place and it is available at the right time. So that is called documentation control. Another aspect of implementation is the operational control. So we have to understand our processes, understand our operations, understand our equipments, understand what kind of skills our manpower is having, and based on that we have to make some do's and don'ts for our operations. Such instructions are called operational control procedures for environmental management system. Some of the procedures are applicable to supplier activities, transportation activities, waste disposal activities, scrap management, housekeeping activities, and any other such support activities. So we have to make procedures in which we should talk about how we will be doing the operations so that the damage to environment is minimal. And the last part of implementation related clause is the emergency preparedness. So first we have to identify what kind of emergencies can take place, like explosion, like fire, like heavy leakage, overflows, like rupture of safety walls, pipelines, problems related to various like heavy monsoon, earthquake, natural problems, man-made problems. So what kind of emergencies can be there? We have to first make a list of possible emergencies. Then we have to develop how we will be preventing such emergencies. And in case we are encountered with such kind of situation, how we will be handling such situation. What is our fire protection plan? What is our first aid preparedness? How many hospitals are there near to our plant where we can take the help? We have to have the contact with the special interest people like fire brigade, like nearby companies who can support us during such emergencies. And we have to do the drills or practice for checking our preparedness for emergency handling. The last part of this standard talks about the monitoring and measurement. In monitoring and measurement, first we have to identify which are the key characteristics of our operations which can give us some idea about the performance of our environment management system. Such key characteristics are like what is the parameters of our effluent, what is the parameters related to our air, what is the parameters which are part of our various wastes, what is the like how we will be measuring the energy usage. So such kind of parameters which we should monitor should be listed, Then we have to define the frequency of such monitoring activities, how we will be monitoring, whether we will be able to monitor it in-house or whether we have to monitor it by using some competent agency, how we will be selecting that agencies, how we will be monitoring the reports of that agency, how we will be using this information for improvement of our environment management system. In this monitoring, we have to also monitor the continual compliance of our company with respect to legal and other requirements which were identified earlier in the planning phase clause. We also should have a system of non-conformance handling and corrective and preventive actions. So like ISO 9001, ISO 14001 also talks about non-conformity but with respect to environmental related problems. And once we identify the non-conformities such as leakage, spillages, overflows, excess use of material, excess use of energy, or such any other kind of pollution or emergencies, then we have to take some corrective actions. Corrective actions are the actions which we take on the problems, and then there is a requirement of preventive actions also. Preventive actions are taken normally before the problem happens. So we have to take the preventive actions based on the aspects and impact studies, or maybe based on our experience, or maybe based on the various process parameters which we observe their trend, or maybe based on the monitoring data. Like the tank thickness is keep on decreasing, so we know that okay, it may be failing, so we have to take some preventive actions before it fails. There is a requirement of control of records related to the environment management system, and a system of internal audits. How we ensure that we have effective internal audits with respect to environment management system. So again, there should be qualified auditors, there should be procedures, how to record the audit findings, how to record the non-conformities, how to ensure the actions are taking place, and like that. Finally, there is a requirement of management review. Management review means the top management of the company, like directors and HODs, they have to look at the performance of various processes, various departments. They have to look at how the processes are carried during that particular period of review, whether any interested parties or legal authorities have given any negative comment about the operations of the company, what kind of corrective and preventive actions are taken, whether any environment related incidents have taken place, how the internal audits are happening, how the external audits are happening, and like that, all those objectives, targets, parameters, what are the constraints for achieving that should be discussed in the management review. Thank you.